Hello, my name is Alex Orlov. I'm presenting on some news articles that I found from The Economist magazine. This is for Management 5900 Business Strategy. Let's get started. So, article number one is titled China's Humanoids Are Dazzling the World. Who will buy them? The subtitle is The Market for Robot Dancers, alas, is limited. It ran in the business section on February 18th, 2026. The full link is right on the screen. Basically, it's covering China's rapid rise in humanoid robots. Some key facts from Article 1. The article reports that more than 14,500 humanoids were delivered globally last year. Nearly all of these were from China. Two Chinese firms, Agibot and Unitree, captured about three-quarters of the market, while Tesla managed only 150 units. China has built the world's deepest supply chain. In the Yangtze River Delta, you can source 90% of parts locally. The catch? Well, most robots are currently used for entertainment, like sword fighting routines at the Spring Festival Gala or serving coffee at kiosks, even. The biggest buyer right now is the Chinese state itself. This is done through subsidies and government events, basically. Very interesting. All right. All right, let's go. Next. Some insights, some business strategy insights from Article 1. Basically, this screams several core strategy concepts we've kind of covered or studied. Firstly, China is using a state led innovation strategy to create massive supply chain clusters. This is exactly the kind of location based competitive advantage we discuss in global strategy modules. Suppliers who used to serve the overcapacity EV industry have pivoted to robots, squeezing foreign rivals like, for example, Japan's Nippon Gear. However, this article specifically warns of a classic bubble risk. Production is racing ahead of real demand. Right now, robots are only 30 to 40% as efficient as humans at factory tasks like carrying boxes or any other repetitive task. Without productive use cases, this could become wasteful overinvestment, if you think about it. For Western executives, the lesson is kind of clear. Governments can act as both partner and fierce competitor in emerging technologies. This ties straight into our class discussions. I believe we've covered sustainable competitive advantage. Um, Altogether, you need more than cool tech. You need scalable, demand driven business models. That's kind of something that I got from that first article. Now, let's move on to article number two. This is actually one day later. It was posted on February 19th, 2026, The Economist. It's titled India is in the midst of a data center investment boom. It has a subtitle Money is flowing into the country, but the benefits may prove temporary. Um, Altogether, it's kind of saying that India is positioning as AI infrastructure hub, kind of um, insight on that. And then the link is right there on the screen. Some key facts from this article that I got. India's data center capacity basically tripled since 2020 and now stands at 1.3 gigawatts. Still small compared with America or China, but it's growing pretty fast. During an AI summit in Delhi this month, the Adani Group pledged approximately 100 billion by 2035. International players are pouring in too, such as Japan's NTT Data, which is the current leader, while Alphabet is spending $15 billion and Microsoft $20 billion on AI infrastructure clusters. The drivers are crystal clear. Strict data localization laws, um, basically financial data that must stay in India, and a new tax holiday for foreign owners until 2047, and state level incentives like cheaper electricity in Maharashtra and Karnataka, two cities. Electricity and land costs are about 20% lower than in the strained US grid. And then some business strategy insights. Okay. This article is a textbook example of location strategy and how governments shape industry attractiveness. Altogether, it kind of relates to Porter's diamond model, I believe we covered, and factor conditions, cheap power, government policy, as well as demand conditions. I know that India generates one fifth of global digital data, which is pretty significant. Um, Global hyperscalers are treating India as a cost effective hub for training and running AI models. Yet, the piece raises a red flag. Once built, data centers create a few permanent jobs. The economic boost could be temporary unless India develops, I believe, its own cutting edge AI capabilities. I know the key takeaway from this article is that emerging markets can attract foreign direct investment through smart policy. But long term advantage requires moving up the value chain. Now, kind of to pull those two together, compare them a little bit, those two stories, those two articles, they both highlight how emerging economies are racing ahead in the ecosystem, in the AI ecosystem. China in physical hardware and robotics supply chains, India in digital infrastructure. China relies on heavy state purchasing and clusters. India uses incentives and cost arbitrage to lure hyperscalers. Basically, the common thread is government's powerful role in shaping business models and competitive dynamics. When the government gets involved, they can start doing pretty big things, especially with the technological field. They are investing a lot in AI and infrastructure, digital infrastructure at that. The contrast, China risks a humanoid bubble from showpiece demand, while India risks temporary gains if the data centers remain ghostly presences with limited local spillovers. Together, they show that in high-tech sectors, strategy isn't just about technology; it's about policy timing, supply chain resilience, and converting hype into productive scale. Some more key takeaways for our class, business strategy, from these two articles. First, innovation without real customer demand leads to bubbles. Apply this test to any industry you analyze. Secondly, global strategy now means scanning policy shifts and incentive regimes in places like China and India. And thirdly, sustainable competitive advantage comes from productive use cases, not just flashy prototypes. These trends directly affect every sector we study, from tech, manufacturing, services, AI. As future managers, I believe it's important. that we monitor AI infrastructure and robotics because they will reshape cost structures and entry barriers worldwide. AI is already changing the world, as we can see. Okay. And that concludes it. Thank you for watching. I have the two links right here on the screen. And both these articles were interesting. And thank you for your time. Bye.